Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Donoran podcast, continuing our Xenogears series. I am Bo.
And I am Don.
And we want to take a moment to just mention our sponsor. Be sure to check out Ashley Luann K on Instagram. We have a link for her Instagram page there in our description of this video or podcast or comment section or whichever platform you're searching. She has an Instagram that just gives awesome insight into nursing education, lifestyle, in just all aspects of nursing from there. So, yeah, absolutely check her out if you're interested in that at all. And even if you're not, maybe you'll become interested. Speaking of interesting...
Yeah, it's an interesting leap from nursing to that, but, whatever.
We've been nursing this podcast for quite some time.
10 episodes in.
The
Probably about halfway through, to be honest.
Yeah, and we do want to cover other subjects, but this is the news. This is important.
Adam demanded to know more about Xenogears, and damn it, he's going to.
Yeah. So, and no one's going to play the game ever again. So, because Square Enix just won't re-release it. Like, we got a remake of a game that never even released in the West. Adam's playing Trials of Mana right now. Like, no, there was no demand for this game to be remade whatsoever.
There was no demand for Final Fantasy VII.
But Xenogears is you know what?
I mean, if you
I'm hoping that by the end of the series they'll be like, you know what, it's time.
I'm not. Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Anyway, last time, Citan, he and Melchior, they came up with this awesome plan of removing everyone's limiters around the world using nanomachines in an uncontrolled manner. And so Citan has, of course, assigned himself to the team with Ellie.
The one with the least amount of work,
yes,
of course.
Because there's also a evil army of Solarians on a hell march across Ignis.
Now, evil's unfair. Some of these are just probably enlisted men.
Well, they're Nazis, but they they read 1984 and they know that communism is wrong. Anyway, so yeah, Citan's got himself some alone time with Ellie. So of course he's going to be creepy about it. He's asking,
and not creepy in the way you think. Just
Citan's not that kind of.
He's not going to make a move. Yeah, but it's going to be bad.
He is asking some interesting questions, or intimate questions. So why are you so committed to engaging with the world right now? Like, I know the world's gone a little bit crazy, but didn't you just want a quiet life with Faye? Isn't that what you're going for here? And Ellie says, well, I've been running away from reality, like Faye, for a while now. And look, I didn't know if the feelings I had for Faye were real or if it was just me reacting to losing both of my parents in front of me because a hamster shot my mom.
No, hey, he is not a hamster. Give him some credit.
He's your bro.
He is.
He was my bro. I'm not sure how I
He's
feel
not
about
heavy. He's my bro.
Okay, I want that bumper sticker now. Only with hammer. Yeah, so she wanted her and Faye to be apart for a little bit, figure out how things stand.
This is all very mature, by the way.
Yeah, it actually really is. Citan actually says exactly that. You've really matured in the last few weeks.
I didn't know Citan was about to say that, for the record.
Matured like a mother.
Is that the exact quote?
That's him being a cryptic asshole again. Because he knows
we still don't have an explanation for the music box at the beginning of the game, by the way, people. Bear that in mind.
Yeah, it's coming, but it'll be a while.
It's been 80 hours into the game.
Look, FedEx will be here when it gets here. Leave it alone. Ellie says, hey, I'm like 18, dude. I'm not your mom. And Citan just laughs. Well, we should get to that whole coating the planet in nanomachines thing. Oh, by the way, you're going to have to do that by yourself. I got something else I got to do.
So not only is he not going to do the easy job, he's going to bail on that.
I'll be there when time is right. But right now, I got some other things.
He's Gandalf.
Yeah.
In The Hobbit.
Yeah,
he's Gandalf in The Hobbit.
You're in Mirkwood. Stay on the path. Don't worry, there's no actual gameplay.
I've already been with you longer than I wanted to, okay?
Don't worry, Emeralda is here. She's decided to tag along with Ellie instead of FaZe Kim.
And she's still a little girl at this
Yeah,
point.
she's
right?
still a little girl. So she's still that little nanomachine colony girl who can shapeshift her arms into sickles, hammers, and
Akira.
yeah.
Akira.
And just in case a vengeful Solaris finds out that you're about to do some tinkering with ancient mass driver technology and nanomachines, that she might protect you. Meanwhile, back at Melchior's hut, he's talking with a mysterious figure off screen. So, you were the one who brought Faye and this girl to me. I realized it the minute I saw the two of them. Why, how could I help but notice? They looked the spitting image of you and her, just as you yourselves looked way back then. Right?
Just as they themselves. So they like.
Right, Lacan.
Oh, Lacan's still alive.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
Melchior knows him.
perhaps we've already seen Lacan.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm sure they look familiar. Because apparently they look familiar to Melchior and look a lot like Faye and Ellie.
Well, I like that what Melchior said there is basically saying that, back then, you looked just like you.
Yeah.
the language
Yeah,
there is very awkward.
Yeah. So whatever that means. Meanwhile, back at the Gazelle Ministries crib, Krellian has brought some news they're not so happy about. What do you mean he's still alive? Didn't Ramses shoot him down? Yeah, Faye's still alive. They're not happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Krellian says that he will not let Ellie die. And the ministry are like, dude, we already have a mother. I know she's not the anti-type, but it doesn't matter because we have a mother. We have one proper noun. I don't know what you're so... we don't need two.
In my day, you were happy to have one proper noun. Yeah. You didn't beg for a new one every 3 months.
A combination thereof. But, Krellian, you're so picky. It's because you're still an organic, human, irrational being. Krellian says, look, guys, peace offer. I'll send Ramses back out to kill Faye. And one of the ministry boys is doing some research on his little computer that he's a part of, and says, well, Etrinak being destroyed has disrupted GPS, but I can still track this guy to his exact location, so not too disrupted, apparently, because Solaris is that cool. And he tells everyone that Faye has left the woodlands. And Krellian thinks...
Is woodlands one of those ones that gets in, not parentheses, but quotation marks?
No, it's just the woodlands.
Okay.
Like, he has left the forests where Melchior was, off on some adventure. And Krellian is thinking, it's only a matter of time before the seal is broken. Now, apparently he is just thinking this to himself, but he's probably muttering something as well, because the Gazelle Ministry hear him. But he, blows it off. I was just talking to myself, man. I'm irrational. Yeah.
So everyone in this game is working multiple angles.
Yes.
Everyone. Because I was just thinking just now as you were speaking, I was like, the Gazelle men, man, they're upset because their plans are,
they're on
the
same side as Krellian, aren't they?
I know. I don't exactly know what everyone's motivations are.
You got Emperor Cain.
Emperor Cain wants to find...
he's on a different wavelength.
But he wants to find God, right? That's his goal, is to find God and get off...
That's ostensibly everyone's goal here, on this side of the crib.
But why is the Gazelle Ministry opposed to Cain if they have this? See, this is getting... folks, this is getting convoluted.
It's convoluted, yeah. So anyway, the Gazelles say, we should really get Ellie back if you're so obsessed with her, because, the key over here is resonating. The time of resurrection is coming. Krellian says, look, there's no hurry. Besides, there's something she needs to do. So then I can take her back.
He wants them to succeed in this current mission.
Yeah.
But why would he want...
What? Okay, so back to podcasting. Faye is sitting on that chair talking about this awesome adventure he had off screen.
So you guys didn't see it, but trust me, it was sick.
I got some snapshots of cut content. Ramses.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're back here on Faye's YouTube channel.
Smash that subscribe button. Ramses showed back up in Vendetta for an unavoidable battle, but Faye has the ability to switch on his id mode. So Ramses just kind of dies. Well, not dies. He just gets defeated.
And this is all post-script. We hear about this after the fact.
Yeah, pretty much. I think there might be a gameplay segment where you literally just flip a switch, and it's an unlosable battle. So this ends that little brief, glorious period of time where Ramses wasn't constantly haunted by PTSD and feelings of generalized worthlessness and anxiety. Like, he was actually probably a pretty cool dude to be around for like a week after beating Faye. Now he's just trash.
Yeah, he's going back to just sitting on his bed listening to One by Metallica, staring at the ceiling.
The game even states outright, Ramses' absolute confidence was shattered. Faye allows him to escape, hearing Ramses mutter, "If only you didn't exist." It's like that one. I can't remember where this first came from, but it's that one thing where one brother is saying, "What did I ever do to you? You were born."
I just get I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just enjoying this.
We'll get to why Ramses' deal eventually, but yeah. All right, meanwhile, back in Ellie's perspective, she's sitting down in the chair and she's telling you about her awesome adventures. She's kicking it over here in the studio with Emeralda, looking out for this Zeboim ruin, the site of a mass driver facility, and she's doing some mad urban exploration. For some reason, the power in this millennia-old facility is still on. And since the budget was cut...
This is one of those weird JRPGs where old crap works better than new crap.
Yeah. Like this mock 20th century facility. It's like, hey, the LEDs, man, they last. There's a reason the utility will pay you to put them in. Incandescent bulbs just won't hack it anymore. You know, so... You don't really have any enemies or random encounters or puzzles because there's no time. There's no budget. We need... Final Fantasy VIII is going to revolutionize your life. We swear. So Ellie's like, well, along the way, we saw some various missiles and rockets that were created during the Zeboim era, which, if you'll recall, was 4,000 years before the game started.
Yes.
They stood like tombstones of that ancient civilization. It was a graveyard for a race of people who destroyed each other over pride and arrogance. And then we met with Seitan. He's back. I don't know what he was doing, but he showed back up just like he said he would. He's in the control room, and he started activating the facility and loading a capsule with nanomachines to release the limiter seal in all sentient life on the planet. And there's this... So you fire this ancient cannon, and it actually works. It shoots up in the lower Earth's atmosphere, hits the convection current, spreads the nanomachines. There's a beautiful aurora of science just surrounding the planet. Soon, everyone will be breaking whiskey bottles over their own faces and shouting, "Nanomachines, son!"
No, is this also psychological limiters? Are they all going to be MIT grads too?
I don't know. I don't know. I might take, I don't know. Admittedly, apart from the main party, Shavat and apart from the main party, Shavat and the people of Solaris, most people on the planet have absolutely no idea what limiters are. So that they have them.
There's gonna be some guy opening a can of peas and just crushes it in his hands.
Like you're randomly gonna start doing Kaokens. Keep your paws off my manga, Jeff. Take out the wall.
The nerd is up to bat and getting made fun of in the Little League game. And absolutely crushes it.
Yeah. So meanwhile, Faye is reporting live from Nissan with an after-action report because the cameraman was too afraid to actually be there for the fight. Solaris's mobile surface supremacy weapon invaded the area with great force. Shavat and Nissan's standard gear battalions were no match. It was only a matter of time before the Solaris mobile weapon arrived in Nissan. After we pushed back the Solarian gears, we headed for Nortune to the Kislev capital's administrative district. We went there to obtain our one and only means of standing up against the weapon. Yeah, so just to remind you that Kislev still exists.
Kislev is still a thing, yeah.
So... You remember when you first see Kislev, and then you get the overview hub, and there's this giant red thing in the middle. And it's obviously a ship. Mm-hmm. Turns out it's a ship. And it's also relevant now. It was a secret battleship from an ancient war that Kislev used in its rebuilding. Also, Bart's ship is the secret part of this larger ship that makes it go. So the sand cruiser Yggdrasil was actually the center of a command and control module of the main secret weapon of the craft. Awakening from 500 years of dormancy, its true form appeared before us. Commanded by its new master, the secret battleship stood before the mobile weapon, with all of us inside of it. Presumably, Kislev is now rebuilding from war without its primary power plant at this point, but that's okay. You know what? You do some trade-offs. You know, there's the haves. Like, there are countries with the natural resources, and there's the countries, for one reason or another, that have industry. And if you have natural resources, you don't need to develop your standard of living because you have your niche. The good living is for us. Good living in the form... Good living in the form of a Power Rangers Voltron transformation sequence, turning the Kislev secret battleship and the Yggdrasil into a giant gear called Super Dimensional Gear Yggdrasil 4.
Is that really the name?
Yes.
I love it.
Super Dimensional Gear Yggdrasil 4.
That's so 70s space anime. I love it.
And Bart manages to sneak in a line. All right. Transformation complete. Come on, monster. Let's go.
Ay, caramba.
So this Solaris weapon, which from now on we're going to be calling Fort Hurricane, is like a giant spiky ball that operates like a Star Fox boss. Mm-hmm. It's actually pretty challenging, and it's actually it's one of the few moments of gameplay. Unfortunately, it's over before you know it because your awesome new gear can pull a Megatron and become a giant laser rifle, and that pretty much puts paid to this little thing. God. So at the same moment that Ellie has coated the world with nanomachines, you have destroyed the supremacy mobile awesome weapon with your super dimensional omni awesome super duper gear. Faye recounts that across the land, everyone rejoiced. All national borders dissolved as ethnicity seemed quaint in the face of mutual destruction. Faith was alive. After 5 years of division, the land of Ignis would be united for the common good. Kaiser Sigmund is never heard from again.
Not that anything happened to him, he just split.
Yeah, maybe somebody noticed the ears and he got killed by his own anti-mutant racist guard. Or
who immediately became unracist after killing him because we can't contradict Faye.
Yeah. Or he retired and took up gardening like the last king emperor after World War II. After the whole Manchukuo thing didn't turn out. Anyway, Faye remembers, and then the sky shimmered as if to celebrate because the nanomachines are trickling down. By the hands of L.A., Citan, and Melchior, and Emeralda, the nanomachines had been dispersed into the atmosphere. That was when disaster struck.
Everything was perfect. It was great.
For one brief, one of my favorite quotes from Disco Elysium, for a moment there was hope.
That's not for a moment there was hope, comma. That's for a moment there was hope, period.
Yeah. Our songs of victory were replaced by the sounds of total pandemonium. So there's no real way to describe this other than everyone is now transforming into a horrible creature. Seemingly at random, every fifth person in Nisan and around the world is now transforming into a half-cooked chicken, a praying mantis, or some kind of Sonic original character.
So, oh no, they're all becoming Wells.
Yes,
it's
Wells.
Yeah,
it's they're mutants now. The weird different versions of mutants.
Yep.
Seemingly at random. There's no rhyme or reason to what they become. They grow different organs and body parts, seemingly for no purpose. Mm-hmm. Seemingly. Faye, he says, well, it seemed to be triggered when the nanomachines removed the limiter seal that was placed on humankind.
But I don't want to jump to any conclusions.
I admit it's a coincidence. The human form with its innate abilities released. Well, that's when I remembered what Hammer had said back in Solaris. What becomes of the normal humans? Now, Hammer did say, what about the normal people? What can we do? We don't have superpowers. I don't know if we can really infer that he was talking about, hey, what happens to the rest of us when we turn into chicken embryos, man? Like, I think he was just making a valid point about how in a setting with superheroes, the people without powers, like, I mean, you've got Spider-Man, where the people, where the good union men working the cranes can work together to save New York City by getting Spider-Man where he needs to go to fight the infectious lizard man.
I think what Don's trying to say, in a world inhabited by good dues-paying union folk, what do the non-union workers do?
Anyway, so not a whole lot of people are particularly happy right now. You know, a whole lot of families lost people in the long war, and there's been a lot of disasters in between them. And now the survivors, like, you just had a reunion with granddad or your brother, your sister, and
granddad's a chicken embryo.
Yeah, and now they're a chicken embryo, just living in your on your like it's the metamorphosis, Kafka's.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's a
Kafka.
good one. That's a good one.
But the Gazelle Ministry, they couldn't be happier. Well, like, yeah, hey, they will become the body of our servant. Never knew there'd be so many. Well, some haven't germinated yet, man. They're like I got a little chat room because they're all living in TVs. Are they not destined to be the flesh of God? Well, maybe the people who haven't mutated, maybe they're the enemies of God, man. Maybe they're not Christian.
Oh, that's right. That's the Gazelle Ministry's whole slant is they're trying.
Yeah, maybe they're the enemies of God. Let's activate the Soylent system on the ground. Well, the half-finished mutants, they're pretty much worthless. I wouldn't say worthless. You can never have too many mutants. You never have too many. Meanwhile, Krellian and Miang are hanging out in a lab discussing current events. And,
I haven't heard from her in a while.
Yeah, Miang is congratulating Krellian on manipulating everyone into removing humanity's limiters, but she's making it an accusation, like this wasn't according to her plan. Krellian says, well, don't worry too much, Miang. Calm down. I know, everything's still going according to plan. Everything's under control. In the event of the explosion of the capital of Solaris, I had set up a nanomachine virus to diffuse into the atmosphere. I knew they were eventually going to do this. I mean, the timing was a little close for comfort, I admit, but, the current mutations of the humans are an initial response to that virus. Once the virus is spread all over the world and it germinates inside the humans, they are no longer the same. They change into a controllable form. We need humans that do not depend on the keys invocation in order to awaken. In other words, a being to take the place of the original body of God. And Miang has her aha moment and congratulates Krellian for being such a colossal dick and infecting everyone with a mutant virus at the exact same time that they were infected with nanomachines to not do that.
So, this is pretty interesting because this is the first scene I think we see Miang. People seem to be answering to her.
Yes.
Whereas before, when we were introduced to Miang, she was sort of a consort for Ramses.
Always an advisor or a consort, behind the scenes character.
But this time, Krellian is absolutely submitting all authority to her. It seems.
Yeah,
so this is a super significant scene.
Like he has he can't outright defy her is the thing.
That's yeah.
He's working
and he
around
seems to
her.
be worried that she's displeased with what happened, and he has to defend that.
Yes.
Why would he have to defend that? Interesting question. Yeah. Interesting scene.
And Ellie has taken over narration, and she has advised that all mutated humans have rushed to the Solaris ground facilities, the Soylent system, in the hopes of a cure or reprieve.
No, don't go there.
Yeah. Those too heavily mutated started attacking people who were less mutated for their blood to ease their pain. So it's quite literally the return of the living dead.
Right.
Like, why do you eat brains? Well, I eat brains because it hurts being dead, motherfucker.
I'll bet it does.
It does. I can feel myself rot. Dude, you're a chicken embryo. Yeah, it's going to hurt.
What I mean, what'd you expect?
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, yeah.
Do you want the limiters on or not? No, wait a minute.
Like,
Did old Mel know this was going to happen? That seems to be the operative question at this point.
I don't know. Sight and Melchior have actually are coming up.
Okay.
They have decided to avoid being seen at this particular part of the game for obvious reasons. But anyway, the Soylent facilities on land, they do what you think they do. They break down and compost the mutants to use their biological parts to form singular organisms.
Because that's the ultimate goal for the Gazelle Ministry, is to
Yes.
make one large
Yes.
single organism
And
that
of
they
course,
refer to as
it's
God.
not just the land dwellers. The Solarians are here too. A lot of Solarians, they're mutating as well, and they're probably the ones spreading the rumors of a cure. Like, guys, I'm from a place with awesome healthcare. If you can afford it, we might be able to get some help over there. And so Ellie and the party have shown up to the Soil facilities to intervene because, like, guys, if you go here, you're gonna die. And all the mutants are yelling at Ellie because, hey, you don't have, like, you've got all that non-mutated blood. You're not sharing. And Ellie is admittedly feeling some liberal guilt about her non-mutant privilege. But then, of course, we need some gameplay here. So a Sufal mass, a large, like, chimeric singular organism made of these various mutant parts, breaks out of containment and starts eating all the mutants to assuage its pain. Citan and Faye and Ellie manage to beat it, and as it lies dying, Ellie takes Citan's swords, cuts her hand, and lets it drink her blood, so it's not in pain as it's dying. And that act seems to have caught the attention of all the other mutants, and Ellie gives a speech. This facility it was built by Solaris to kill you.
And turn you into this.
Yeah, it's all part of their plan of racial purification. Don't judge them too harshly. It was a different time. During this segment, we see a flashback to Sophia giving a very similar speech about how avoiding death at the cost of living as a human means nothing if you're the only human left. In fact, we see two versions of the character sprite interspersed throughout the scene, as Faye is seeing two people at once.
But Ellie's, to clarify, Ellie's narrating.
Yes, Ellie is
correct?
narrating. By ourselves, we are lonely, so we draw close together to live. That's what it means to be human. That's how people live. A single hand cannot clap.
Did they say that?
Yeah.
I like it.
Don't let go of your human heart.
By the way, it can.
Yeah. Yeah. You can also slap someone.
Yeah, you can slap someone with one hand.
Yeah. Ellie faints from the stress, but she becomes an overnight messianic figure. Supported by Faye and the rest of the party, she goes back to Nassan with all the mutants and just does what she can to help them. And Faye updates his podcast about how they went all over the world having awesome karate battles to destroy the Soylent system, which is gone now. You don't have to worry about it. Also, Melchior got out of his hut, and he started using nanomachines to fix the mildly mutated.
Again, I don't want a lot of work. I don't want to deal with
so that they could live relatively normal lives.
I'm retired. I consult now.
You know, like, if you might have 3 limbs, but you can operate relatively. Like, you can get a job, but yeah. So you might spit acid or something every now and again. That's normal. Well, then Faye gives another podcast about how that process went. So, hey guys, we're back with Faye and friends for another episode. Smash that like button because we're about to blow your mind. Unfortunately, there were some that had such accelerated symptoms that their treatment was not promising. Trying to bring them back to a form that resembled a human was the best that we could do. However, mysteriously, they no longer fought each other. And the recovery from the physical pain of mutation may have played a factor, but it wasn't just that. The majority of the people received by Nassan were those that had been admonished by Ellie and had regained their humanity. It became rumored that Ellie was a reincarnation or a second advent of Sophia. Go to Nassan and you will receive salvation.
These mutants started acting better because Mama yelled at them?
Yeah, pretty much. There's a religious figure at work. The news seemed to spread further about, and the people came from all over to be saved, both physically and spiritually. Free from the supervision of Solaris, the surface dwellers began to unite in one place. Okay, so the Gazelle Ministry have finished their latest cringe compilation video about college students who don't know who the other host of the Man Show was. And they're up to, like, take down some other irrational people. Like, and, you know, they're...
Destroy them with facts and logic.
Okay, so you think they might be a little upset that the mutants are not so much mutants anymore. But honestly, it could be worse. I mean, they're not as mutated as we like, but they're all in one place. And
We could use this.
I'm thinking now is about the time we use the geisha key, guys.
The geisha key?
The geisha key. The key. We have that keyhole in the floor. We're going to use the key. Now, we've heard about the key before, and it turns out it's just a key. It's a giant key that just floats in the air, and they have a button that they want to press. Okay, guys.
Burn a hole in their pocket.
Okay, guys. Let's just use the key. Now is the time to use the key.
It would be better if the same guy that argues for the key was the same guy throughout the entire. It's just this one guy. He doesn't know what's going on. He has a button. He just wants to press.
I just want to press the key button, man. But then Old Man Kane shows up in his throne and says, "Don't touch the geisha key." That's how you
gummit.
Yeah, who touched the thermostat? Don't install the geisha key. That's how you get viruses on your computer. But, Dad, we want to resurrect God.
We want to play RuneScape.
You dang kids need to shut up about proper noun key. Just because Space God said something a long time ago doesn't mean we have to live by it.
And you know what? If you weren't working this hard to resurrect God, maybe you could work hard and find a job.
Leave your goddamn TV. But, Dad, maybe I want to resurrect God. And he zaps them. He uses, like, his emperor powers to remind him he's still Big Dick Emperor Kane.
Why didn't he do this forever ago?
Yeah, and he explains that, hey, if you come back, if I have to come back here, I'm getting the belt. And then after Kane leaves, like, the Zell Ministry is powerless to use the key because Emperor Kane is watching. And then Emperor Kane muses to himself, and he does his musings are a lot better than Satan's, admittedly.
I love him.
We have already done our part. It's time to pass the helm to the next generation. The people will not perish, which is not the words you'd expect out of the leader of Solaris.
I like that he's like 4,000 years old. He's like, time to let the next generation.
Yep. I think
There's been countless generations since he was born.
This guy has existed since the genesis of mankind. Oh, and now he's saying it's time to let the younger kids have a shot.
Time to get off this. In theory, if all Republican leaders lived this long, would they come to this conclusion?
Yeah,
maybe it's time for
everyone's path to socialism is on their own pace. Admittedly,
given enough time, could Mitch McConnell become Fidel Castro?
Look, the light of the dialectic always shines. It's always calling us home. Anyway, that's all I have for this set of notes. I have absolutely no idea how long we've spent on this.
Hang on, Adam's rushing. He paused this game and everything. Wow.
Oh, wow. You know what?
This is 33 minutes.
We can get through more. I want to
that felt like...
I know.
You know what? Time
Okay.
Time does not fly when we weren't having any fun. This is work.
Yeah.
This is work. We're not having any fun.
We made mutants. We fixed mutants. Mm-hmm. And we can't use the geisha key.
Take that, Senator Kelly. We did it.
We can't use the geisha key. Can't use it because the old man is watching.
I hope when Kane was doing his musing, the Gazelle Ministry was like, man, when we were 18, I am so out of here. I'm going to use the geisha key every day. What's he going to do?
It's that commercial with that guy who gets his own house. He opens the fridge. Tell Dad I'm refrigerating the neighborhood. I'm installing the geisha key.
Which I like that a man with such responsibility to buy a home in such an obviously opulent neighborhood still holds so much grudge against his guy, grow up.
Okay, break over.
This ain't no union.
Yeah, like this. I had really expected this set of notes to be in its own podcast, but oh well.
33 minutes.
Anyway, so hi, I'm Ellie. Pronouns she and her. Proper nouns mother and antitype. And we're back with another sick news drop. Also, Faye is here, and he is sitting in a chair with a spotlight talking about other things the game couldn't afford to show you.
And we found out about 5 hours ago in the game that he is not he does not have the cognitive capacity to understand pronouns.
Yeah,
so.
He's learning. Anyway, Faye is explaining that despite the momentous events that we just talked about, everything settled down. It's fine. Note, for some reason, while Faye is sitting in a chair and talking, Flight, the theme Flight. The awesome space battle theme is playing.
Love it. It's the best song in the game.
It is. It's as if we just declared victory over a plague rather than actually decide to fight it. So, begin quote. We began to search for the anima relics, the catalyst to transform gears into omni-gears. In the past, 10 relics had been recovered. It is said that about half of those are in the hands of the Ministry. According to Queen Zephyr of Shavat, there should be several more hidden on the land. We knew Solaris would be looking for them, so, there was no way we could allow Solaris to have them. We visited the place where, using archaic records, Zephyr and her people had gotten clues.
Microfilm.
Yep.
Library.
I miss being able to do that in the library. So yeah, it's a lot of. We're going to ancient ruins again, and you can actually kind of roam around a little bit, but don't get too excited.
Don't get too used to it.
Don't get too excited. This is just like a dungeon that kind of works.
Yeah.
It's a relatively intact Zeboim city, and Shopkeep Johnny, that robot, is everywhere. Not Joe.
Not Joe, but Johnny.
It's another shopkeep.
And you need that because there's no precious towns to visit in this section of the game.
And this is an ancient ruin, but there's still, that one shop who he won't shut down.
You ain't kicking me out of my home.
Look, it's his hometown. This is his hometown.
Yep.
I don't care that capitalism ground it down to what it is today. It's still my hometown. So you can pimp out your gears with that guy's stuff, which would be really helpful with Seitan because he keeps avoiding combat, so you're never around to buy stuff for him.
When you know everything, what room is there to grow, Dawn?
Yeah. Faye notes that the power is actually out in this ancient ruin, and he speculates that there must be a fuse-like device that has blown.
You know what it was? They ran on coal.
Oh,
in that
that'll do it. That'll do it.
Guaranteed way for your ancient civilization to crumble. Rely on coal.
Well. Yeah, I hope that I'm reincarnated in the far future, and I have vague recollections from past lives where when I'm exploring a Walmart, this DeWalt drill, it's missing its battery device.
And that's a proper noun, by the way, battery.
Battery. So, unfortunately, the elements have decided that they are relevant again. And Faye immediately says, "You girls again." And the elements say, "We need that anima relic to make Ramses feel better."
Look, man, he's not showering. He's not leaving his room.
He really needs this, guys.
He looks like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that 500 Days of Summer movie after he broke up, which, by the way, watch that movie with today eyes. Very problematic. That dude is not a hero by any stretch of the words. That did not.
And Dominia is Ellie's been trying to talk her out of the space Nazi party for a while. Mm-hmm. It hasn't taken.
Nope.
Dominia says, "Well, what the Gazelle do or whatever happens to the lambs are not my concerns. It's not my I'm not evil. I'm not causing this. I just don't care." And I'm going to continue supporting the Nazis because the
economy.
Etranek might be gone, but they've done wonders with the economy.
Yep, the economy. It's you know what? I don't need a nice
my
guy.
Economy anyway. I mean,
I don't need a nice guy in the office.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm not voting for a dad. I'm voting for a president. Okay,
so. Each of us have our own obligations to fulfill. We don't have time to deal with affairs concerning you weak and inferior people. Look at yourselves, for instance. You're strong, you're superior, but and you're the first to preserve yourselves without any mutations. You're not mutants.
Wait, so everyone at this point except for the party's mutants?
Not everyone. Not everyone, but look at you guys. You're one of the select few.
Okay. By the way, if this game is remade, in a modern thing with an English voice acting cast, I want the girl that does Jessie and Pokemon to do Dominion. Yeah. I think that would be perfect.
Faye actually manages to Faye steps up and says, "Oh, shut up. The race goes not to the fastest, but to those with character portraits."
Does Dominion not have a character portrait?
Oh, she does.
Oh,
but she's not a mutant either. She's just a demi-human.
That's right.
She's one of the good ones, though.
She's one of the good ones. A credit to demi-humans.
The last demi-human of Elru. And Billy, he gets some lines. People are people, nothing more, nothing less. I admit they're weak and powerless, but that's no reason for us to forsake them. We're all the same. And well, not everyone's the same, except that, like, there's that one element that's a cyborg. There's one there's a demi-human. There's one that seems to be a pink rabbit. There's a nanomachine girl in our party. But we're all humans. We're all humans.
Mm-hmm. Humans is what's in here.
Look, Faye and Ellie are very obviously reincarnated people.
Like everyone's just accepted it now. Like
socialism is still the light, so you can go to hell. Ellie is yelling at the elements that, hey guys, you were all surface dwellers and women, and you're serving a system that literally breeds for eugenics purposes. Solaris is not some insurmountable threat right now.
Is this quotes?
No, it's paraphrasing.
Okay.
This is a quote, though. Cherubenia, one of the elements, says, well, people must be able to stand on their own in any circumstance they're in. Overprotection only stunts the will to be independent. This stunts the growth of the people and the world. We've experienced that firsthand. Live by one's own strength. Stand on one's 2 feet. It's sad but true. The weak will be weeded out, but we cannot look back. That's the providence of human existence.
And this, Americans, is really the problem with these spindocrats. They just want to give everyone a handout.
And Ellie's like, well, strong word for some self-important twitch with Power Rangers robots that constantly get clowned on.
That red hair, that red hair, that fire. She's mad.
True to form, if you immediately beat the elements while they're on foot. Well, guess what, guys? We got better gears. Now, you really need to take a moment and watch this on YouTube or something.
Absolutely. Oh, I know exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
Remember that flight theme? Mm-hmm. It's back. And there is a heroic, drawn-out, cool as ice, like cold. It's like
ice cold.
It's so 90s that the tech sector gets bloated every time you play it. The childlike glee from this scene is as sweet as an ecto-cooler.
Oh, man.
This is a
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
This is 2 minutes of crossfire.
Oh, preach, Donnie. Preach. Come on. They sell Crossfire again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
This is some sweet innocence that has survived the austerity of the post 9/11 years. Like, normally a game would think, okay, a 2-minute cutscene, like, okay, guys, this isn't Kojima. We don't need, like, come on, guys. No. You give us 2 minutes of Power Rangers gears morphing into one bigger gear. I don't care.
Oh, man.
It's like if all the conservatives on Twitter formed Voltron to finally debate AOC and still lost. Like, G Elements Go, they had their moment. They had their 2 minutes, but they still lose. The main mark against this combined gear, which looks really cool, but it's slow. It's very slow. Rico could outpace this thing. And on top of that, there's only one control stick for the thing, so different elements are in charge at different points. They're like fighting over.
It's like the Dexter family Big Mac from that episode. But I want to be there.
At this point, Ellie really leans into her new Dorothy Day persona and embraces the Catholic worker. Some things only the weak can feel, but weakness does not make them servile. It's because they are weak that they can develop kindness and never look down on people. That is where real human interaction comes from. Everyone has weaknesses. Even you did it first. Your weakness drew you to each other and made you strong.
See, if Evangelion didn't come out in 95 and Anno Hideaki had played this game, that line right there, he wouldn't have even had to make Evangelion. Yeah. He would have had his answer.
The elements are very angry that they lost, and that all of these people with non-evil beliefs seem to be like holding these beliefs specifically to make them feel bad. Because no one actually believes this. This is virtue signaling. And they leave. Meanwhile, the Gazelle Ministry are like, oh, Dad won't let us play with the key. Let's ask Mom. Miang! Can we play with the key? Oh, did you ask Krellian? What did he say?
Wait, are they actually consulting Miang?
Yeah.
So this is getting real thick.
They are very, very much like, hey, let's ask Mom. Let's ask Mother. And
Do they say mother?
Yes. Let's ask Mom.
Because they already have a mother.
Yes. They have
Remember
a mother.
that? They have a
They
mother
don't need
already.
Ellie.
They don't
Miang's
need
right
Ellie.
there.
Miang is right there. So Miang is quickly, almost suspiciously quickly, becoming the most important character in this game. I wonder if that goes anywhere.
The gazelle, so Miang's like, okay, you've asked Krillin, right? And what did he say? Well, he said something concerning the potential ability as a countervailing existence with everything focusing towards a single point. We didn't really understand it.
Well, that one guy in the Gazelle Manager just screaming from his little TV screen.
Okay, well, do your homework and we'll see about the key. Ramses is tired and I need to take care of him. Speaking of Ramses, the elements seem to have figured out that they're working for Evil Corporation and they don't trust Miang right now because she's no good for Ramses. Instead of literally embracing his reality as the protagonist in a harem anime, Ramses is still angry. Like, dude, you have the elements who are obsessed with you. And you're still upset that Faye is out there somewhere.
Do you remember the Who Shot Mr. Burns?
Yes.
The follow-up episode, who Smithers was at the beginning of the follow-up episode. That's who Ramses is right now.
So, meanwhile, Ellie has gone back to Nissan because she had a feeling there was a reason to do so in the script, but not in the budget. The mutants are...
So we'll hear about it later.
The mutants are still healing with nanomachine help.
And Faith.
Yeah, and Faith. I can't imagine it's easy to turn a chicken man back into a passable version of a human, but they're trying.
They're trying.
And then suddenly Ramses appears. A trembling. There was a sudden explosion in the city of Nissan. With the burning fire stood a gold Omnigear. It was Ramses. He assaulted Nissan so that he could defeat Faye. His purpose of existing was at stake. The Nissan and Shavat militia, even Rink and his friends from Solaris, Ellie's old friends from the Gebler Goobers, who are now working with Nissan. They had to run away. Ramses put everyone to rout, and he was like, he's just like doing giant, like he has his gear hands out with the three bottles.
Your hands.
Yeah. Faye, come out to play. And Ellie's like, hey, he ain't here. He ain't here. I'll kill you instead. And apparently some of Ellie's old Solarian friends are here to helplessly comment on the sidelines. One of them has a beard. I can't remember his name. Anyway, Ellie is just like, dude, what? Come on. It's like he's just like, but
come on,
man. Come on. And then Ramses actually just like breaks down. I was originally created to be the integration of all human abilities, to be able to align with all of the anima relics. I was created to have powers equal to Emperor Cain. You could say I was to be the ideal form from which all people could strive to become.
You may not like it, but this is what peak male performance looks like.
But then he was born, and I was rejected. I was given life in a pile of trash into a cold, dark abyss of worthlessness.
He's Broly.
He's
Broly.
Yeah, he is. But I was able to crawl out of there. I was able to survive on my own strength in order to get back all of everything that had been forsaken from me.
My daddy didn't pay my way through college.
Yep. But then he had to come once again, intervene one more time. As long as he exists, I don't belong anywhere. Ellie tells Ramses, dude, you have a literal cheerleader squad obsessed with you. Faye can't take that away. Because you're proud to be a Solarian. So basically,
because that flag still stands for freedom, brother. They can't take that away.
So basically, Ramses lost his place in the middle class. He gained it back, but he's terrified of losing it again. And if you raise the minimum wage, well, you can't give someone something without taking away from someone else. They're going to take it away from me.
That's logic. That's facts and logic,
that's
liberals.
That's facts and reason.
You've been destroyed. Any liberal listening to this show.
If he can't beat Faye, he doesn't deserve anything. And he can't move past that.
That's why on college campuses, all of Crowder's fans go and kill the most liberal person on campus because they're not allowed to be there.
And they
if
always
they don't
fail.
Do that first.
Always fail.
Always fail. And it's never that the liberal beats them. It's there's those
Like-
Three Stooges gag that's like he pulls the trigger on the gun and it fires at him because Bugs Bunny turned the barrel around.
It's the nemesis. It's Popeye's nemesis walking into like a field of daffodils and getting beaten up by the daffodils.
Bluto.
Yeah.
Bluto.
Bluto. So Ramdas runs back home once again, and the Gazelle Ministry are right. Like, okay, guys, he's almost here. Get ready. Get the banner ready. Like he walks in, confetti flies down from the ceiling. A banner drops saying, "Welcome home, trash." Why are you even here? Dude, you're no use. You've got a refrigerator at home. You're poor. What do you mean you can't get a voter ID because the BMV is 30 miles away and you can't walk to work? Now, Miang tells Ramses, don't worry, honey, you'll always have me. Krelian tells Ramses, dude, you're the same as Cain. And that you're not trash, man. You're as strong as that guy over there. You can kick his ass. You can kick his ass. Dude, he's been talking mad shit about you too.
Hey,
that poison song's in the air.
He said something about your mom, dude. Like people are laughing.
Yeah,
People.
But you said I was a test tube baby. I was literally grown in a vat. Yeah.
Ramses, do you want to beat up the emperor?
Quote unquote, an archetype that surpasses all humans. I made you that way. But he is the one preventing you from fully releasing your powers, divided powers. That man's your original form.
Have you ever heard the tale of Don Pelagius the Wise?
If you could defeat him, then you would be Ellipsis.
I'll bet Ramses was like, ooh, I could be an ellipsis.
I could be anyone, anything. Ramses is...
It's Cain. He's holding me back.
Ramses is filled with determination. Meanwhile, Faye is podcasting about the anima relics. What are they, and why do you want one? Top
10 anima relics and where to find them.
These are the units that merge with the inorganic. Of course... We had no idea that these ancient anima relics were created for. We don't know what they were doing. And we can't allow this power to fall into the hands of evil. In order to obtain the final relic, we headed to a ruin believed to be almost 10,000 years old. The remains of the first civilization on the planet and a reunion with an old friend awaited us. Unfortunately, we're not told that much about this first civilization, but presumably it's near the crash site of the ship.
Right, because that would make sense.
Yeah. It's mostly just a cave, but there is there's some stone temples here. The anima relic is here. And
it's absolutely no secret to anyone anymore that we all came from a crashed ship on this planet. Like everyone,
it's not a secret. Sometimes people will forget just to remind the audience.
Right,
because they might have had to go to school for a while.
Everyone understands that a ship crashed and we all came from it.
Yeah.
On this planet.
So
Scientology's real.
Rico actually so they find the anima relic and it's in like an actual modern facility, presumably a part of the ship itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the middle of this ancient stone temple. And Rico's like, I guess ancient people worship meaningless stuff too, huh?
Oh, he's got to be that guy, the edgy guy.
Which would be funny if these things didn't turn giant robots into super giant robots.
Take that, Richard Dawkins.
Yeah. And also,
how's that for your watch factory?
Now, there is another reason that Rico is here, because Hammer is back. Long time no see, bro.
Does he say that?
Yeah. He's
Love
got a
it.
gear. In fact, he is a gear.
So what's the plan, bro?
Yeah.
You going to talk me to death, or you going to do something about it?
He's mostly cyborg now. And Faye asks, what's with the outfit? You do something with your fur? And
I love Faye.
Yeah.
He's so clueless.
I was finally able to get it. Super strength, just like you, bro. It feels so good. Being one with your gear, Krelian did this for me. Anyway, just leave that gear. And Miss Ellie, I want her too. Resistance is useless. I'm far too powerful for you. Even you, champ. You can't beat me now. Now,
maybe Hammer never was a good guy. Maybe all this was under the surface the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. He is that kind of archetype.
Maybe we might get some monologue after we kill him.
Maybe.
Clarifying.
One big gimmick that Hammer has going for him in his boss fight is that his gear can change shape and grow new parts. Because he's mostly nanomachines.
Yeah.
So he gets like a snake body with tentacles towards the end, and then once you get him on the ropes, he starts to self-destruct. You can escape. But if you escape, you get 1 XP.
Mm-hmm.
and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
If you go all out and beat him before he kills you, you get the Trader card, which improves rare item drops. It's also holographic.
Trader or Trader?
Trader. As
Okay.
in merchant.
Okay.
Merchant card.
Either would have made sense.
That's my bro. Far too strong, even with this awesome body. Champ, promise me you'll go back to Nortune one day. You are the next in line to be Kaiser. And Rico's like, you knew? Dude, we were there. You went into the room only the bloodline could go into.
Right.
And then Hammer's like, don't underestimate the power of my information network, but it's no use now. For a bit player like me, this is probably the end I deserve.
I don't know. I still think he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Faye podcasts that Hammer disappeared into the chasm with a look of satisfaction. Was he happy because he had been able to obtain some strength? A brief moment of power. That smile was the look of joy from that, maybe? I don't know. Or was it the look of relief from the pain brought about by his mutation? Ultimately, we had no other choice but to defeat our quote-unquote friend, Hammer, for the sake of our own survival. Was there any other way around it?
Is this permissible? Get Citan. We need some philosophy.
Yeah. Ellie apparently didn't take this very well. She cried continuously. She hated herself for not having the power to do anything to help him, which is props, considering this guy shot her mom.
What a journey that character has had.
Yeah,
Ellie.
she is really taking her sainthood to heart.
Yeah.
And this is a good place, I think, to end on, because Faye says, when I saw her like that, I couldn't help thinking, I can no longer allow her to fight like this. We returned to Ignis feeling that this had become much more than we could bear.
That's a great place to stop. Just like, subscribe, and share. If you did like it, only makes sense to like it. And even if you didn't like it, I always say share it. That way, someone else.
Like.
You don't get to decide what your friends like. They do. Don't be a jerk. Share this out. Let them decide for themselves. That's what democracy is all about. And the flag still stands for freedom, and you can't take that away.